I want you to listen to Kotaboy here for just a few seconds, then I'll get on to the other stuff. But what he says is very relevant to what's going on today.
Would start. You have to think about the people who are going to pick sides. Well, I myself, I'm going to be on the right-leaning side, and there's some other people who are going to be on the left-leaning side. And as we went to breakfast this morning, we went to a restaurant. It took an hour to sit around, but my wife and kids wanted to go in there. It was worse than a Disney World. And as I looked at the individuals in this restaurant, and I live in a very, what they call, eclectic area of the city I live in, you could tell that the individuals who would be on the left-leaning side were typically of a personality who did not even attempt or have a firearm. But the biggest difference between these two factions, left and right, is that the people on the right can live without the people on the left, where the people on the left need the people on the right in order to survive. If that makes sense, let me know in the comment section down below.
I wanted you to hear that. Now, we're going to talk about some survival stuff here. What he said made a lot of sense. Now, I have a buddy who saw my convertible survival video a couple of days ago, and he stopped down. Didn't call, he just stopped. Here's a picture of him. He's from a galaxy far, far away, and sometimes he'll just stop in out of the blue. You just never know. But anyway, he brought down some interesting stuff. Stuff I had seen in books and stuff like that, but really hadn't got too far into it. Now this, let's see if I can get it zoomed in here. Let's see, it's getting closer, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. It's called the survival model. Looks like SB1. It's a 45 Colt /410 with a 3-inch chamber. So you can shoot either one in this shotgun. Now you can tell it's got a plastic stock, and it's from New England Firearms. It's called the Survivor. Now in the front of this, after I move this down a little bit, it's got a choke in it. And this little wrench here goes in. As I hit the hole, turn this out. And that takes out the choke. That's the choke. Now the inside of this is rifled. The whole barrel is rifled. And to shoot your 45 Colts in there, you've got to take this little choke out to shoot the 45 Colts. Then you put it in to shoot the 410s. Wow, that's 410 3-inch chamber and number 4 shot. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. But I wanted to show you this because we were talking about survival and different things that you can use. These things are out there. You'll probably have to look around. God Lord, when he bought this, I'm thinking 1990, somewhere around in there. But anyway, something else he brought out. This is a New England, New England Firearms. I don't know if I can get this zoomed in or not. This is called the handy rifle. And it's chambered in 45 4570. I don't know if I can get that zoomed in enough or not. Yeah, there it is, 4570 government. So he brought that out along with some ammo. Looks like there were 300 grain jacketed soft points. So that was $17.95 back in 1995. Whereas this, 410 shells, was $15.99. So, because these things they don't sell as many as they used to. But anyway, I want you guys to see this stuff. It's out there. Just look around for it. You know, it is there. It is there. But it's stuff that you could, if you do come into any kind of survival situation, you know what's available. Now this thing will take down there, that loosens up there, and then the other end over here, it's got a little thumb thing too, and then you can stick your ammo in there, and your thing for removing the chokes. But what Kota was talking about was, there are people out there who aren't strong enough to fight back at tyrants. You've watched enough westerns in your lifetime to know that, like the townspeople, there was some poor marshal and he was up against 20 or 30 people, and townspeople wouldn't come together to help him out. And then there's always some guy who really doesn't fit in. You don't expect him to stand up, but he is not going to be stepped on anymore. And he will stand up and fight those guys till he's dead. That's what Kota was trying to say. There are people out there who don't have skills, and they pretty much depend on everybody else in this country. I want you to think about something. Okay. If you consider the fact that almost 90% of the American people live in cities, their food and clothing come from the labors of others. Various forms of energy are processed and delivered to their homes by others. The shelter they live in was probably built by others. It is protected by fire by others, and from intrusion more or less successfully by others. But because of this common interdependence of this complex civilization that we live in, we completely have lost sight of how vulnerable we are, how unable we are through our own direct efforts to provide the core necessities which we require to support our own lives. Without really being aware of it, most of us have subcontracted all of our life support activities to other people, corporations, government bodies, and machines. That contributes to a very big sense of frustration, which is symbolic of modern man, and it's life-threatening should there be an interruption of these vital services. I want you to think about this. What would you do, say for example, a week from next Wednesday? There's no gasoline at the pumps, no food in the supermarket, no electric power or city water, the banks were all closed, and a wild mob had formed in the center of town, looting and burning out of frustration and fear. Could you and your family survive even for a few weeks where you are now, without additional food or water, and perhaps without no police or fire protection? Get the skills, people. Get the skills. One more thing. Sorry to get interrupted like that, but this is important. There's going to be a time when these people that don't have firearms or were afraid to go get one for whatever reason, they could come to your house and say, hey, help me out, give me one of your firearms. Well, here's the thing. That guy has no experience with it. Give him something. Give him a butter knife. Give him a butter knife. Now, if he can go out and get himself a better weapon with it, fine. But if not, you're not out that firearm. Because you give him that firearm, he's liable to lose it, and that same firearm be used against you later on. So if he comes there and he doesn't have the necessary protection to help himself, well, you lend him a butter knife. And if he can do better, say maybe he'll come back with a hatchet, maybe he'll come back with a firearm, he might even come back with a flamethrower. But you lend him the butter knife. Thanks for watching, guys.